You are most welcome for this lesson. My name is Kaziba Steven, and I'm going to be taking you through how we can solve simultaneous equations using the elimination method. Our first item is find the value of x and y in the following equations. Now we have here our equations that we are going to solve using this approach of elimination. And under the elimination, it means that you are going to remove one variable to be able to obtain the other variable. So our equation is 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. And our second equation is 2x plus 3y is equal to 8. Always the first thing you need to note or to look out for are the coefficients. Now, x and y are what we call the variables that for them they can change anytime. Then the digits that accompany the variables are what we call the coefficients. So 4 and 3 are what we call the coefficients. And therefore, in order for us to be able to use the elimination method, we must first ensure that the coefficients of one of the variables we want to eliminate in both equations is the same. So when you look at the first one, when you look at the first equation, here the coefficient is 3. When you look at the second one, the coefficient here is 2. So in order for us to be able to eliminate x that we want for this particular number for now, it means that we must first make those coefficients the same. And what do? You just interchange the coefficients and multiply that particular digit throughout the equation. So for this one, I'll multiply that equation by 2. Then I'll come here, I multiply that equation by 3. What does it mean now? It means that our equation, the first one, we shall multiply it through by 2. So we shall have our 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. And the second equation, we shall interchange and multiply it by 3. So we have 2x plus 3y is equal to 8. So you multiply throughout. This 2 will multiply everything you have. And then this 3 will multiply everything you have. So what are we going to have? So we shall have 2 times the 3x plus the 2 times the 4y will equal to 2 times the 11. Then come to the second one. You'll have 3 times the 2x plus the 3 times the 3y will equal to the 3 times the 8. So now 2 times 3, we end up with 6x plus 2 times 4, which is 8y, will equal to 22. Then we go to the second equation. We have 6x plus the 9y will equal to 24. Now, after obtaining that goal, you ask yourself, what are the signs on the coefficient that you are eliminating, that we are eliminating x? The coefficient here is positive 6, and in the second equation, it is also positive 6. The moment you find that the coefficients of that variable you are eliminating, the signs are the same, then you subtract. So this one means same sign, you subtract. So we are going to subtract those two equations. So I'll come, I subtract. When we are subtracting, we subtract vertically. So I'll have 6x minus 6x. So I'll say 6x minus 6x will give me 0. So here I'll have 0. Then I'll say, I go to the next one. 8y minus 9y. This one will give me negative 1y. So here I write minus 1y is equal to 22 minus 24. Here, so I'll say 22 minus 24. It will give me a negative 2. So here I'll have negative 2. So I'll say negative 1y is equal to negative 2. So this one is a silent one. So in some terms, you can ignore it. And instead of having negative 1y, you can just write negative y. So at this step, since I am interested in y, I'll divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. So my y will equal to 2. Now, after obtaining your y, you are going to go on and obtain your value for x. To obtain the value of x, substitute in any of the equations of your choice. So you can decide to substitute in either the first one or the second one. So let me substitute in the first one. So I'll have 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. What are you going to do? Where there is y, put the 2. So I'll have 3x plus 4 times the 2 is equal to 11. So here I'll have 3x plus 8 is equal to 11. But when you look at our 8 is a positive. So when it is moving, it is crossing the equal sign, the sign will have to change. So I'll say 3x plus 8 minus 8 will equal to 11 minus 8. So 11 minus 8, I'll end up with a 3. So 3x will equal to 3. So in order for me to obtain the value of x, I will divide by 3. I will divide by 3. So my x will equal to 1. So that one is going to be now my answer for that. Therefore, I can go on and I conclude and I say that my value of x is equal to 1 and my value of y is equal to 2. So that is how you do that number. So our x, in conclusion, our x is 1 and our y is equal to 2. So that is how you use the elimination method to be able to solve this number. Can we try the second number? Now we have the second number here. So still you do the same. Look at what you have been given. So this is our first equation. This is our second equation. Look at the coefficients. So when I come here, I'll have 3x plus y is equal to 11. I'll have 2x plus y is equal to 8. Now for this number, our variables are x and y. So your variables here, we have the x and y. Then look at the coefficient. For the first one, the coefficient of x is 3. For this one, there is always a silent one. Always there is a silent one here. The same thing will happen to the second one. There is always a silent one. So when you look at these two equations, you are noticing that in the first equation, the coefficient of y is 1. In the second equation, the coefficient is also 1, meaning that they have the same coefficient. So what are you going to do? Now I'm going to say to eliminate our y. So since they have the same coefficient and the signs are the same, in the first one here, it is positive 1. In the second one, it is also positive 1. So we have already said same sign, subtract. So I'm going to come and I say 3x plus the y is equal to 11. Then I have 2x plus the y will equal to 8. Now, since the signs are the same, I'm going to come and I say now subtract. Now, when we are subtracting, subtract vertically. So you'll have 3x minus 2x, which will give us the x. So here, I'll have my x is equal to subtract y minus y. So y minus y is a 0. So here we shall say plus 0. 11 minus 8. You say 11 minus 8, which will give us a 3. So here I'll have 3. And therefore, my x will equal to 3. And then after obtaining your x, fill in any of the equation to find what your y is equal to. So I'll come where there is x, I put my 3. So I'll come 2 times 3 plus y is equal to 8. 2 times 3 is 6 plus y is equal to 8. Now, in order for you to obtain the value of y, you must remove this 6. So to remove this 6, since it is positive, it will become a subtraction. So we shall have 6 minus 6 plus y will equal to 8 minus 6. And therefore, our y will equal to 8 minus 6. And 8 minus 6 will give us a 2. And therefore, our value of x is equal to 3 and our value of y is equal to 2. So always, when you finish to get your answer, you can go on and prove and ask, are my answers okay? So you can say, let me prove my answer. So use any of the equations. So in case I use 2x plus y is equal to 8. So where there is x, you are going to put 3. Where there is y, you put 2. So I'll say 2 times 3 plus my y, which is 2. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2, which is equal to 8. So 8 and 8. Even when you put in the first one, you have 3x plus y is equal to 11. So our x is 3. So I say 3 times 3 plus 2. This is 9 plus 2, which also gives us an 11, meaning that our answers are correct. So that is how we solve. We can try another number. This is the other number. Now, still you do the same thing. So now I'm going to come, I first write my equation. So I'll have 2x minus 5y is equal to 13. I have 5x minus 3y is equal to negative 15. I look at the coefficients. In case I want to eliminate x, look at the coefficient. The coefficient here is 2, here is 5. So what you do, you interchange. You get here, multiply this equation by 5. Come to this equation, multiply it by 2. So in other words, we shall have 5 multiplying the whole of this equation of 2x minus 5y is equal to 13. Then in the second one, I'll have times 2 multiplying the 5x minus the 3y is equal to negative 15. And when they are multiplying, that digit you have chosen will affect everything. So I'll have 5 times 2x minus 5 times 5y is equal to 5 times the 13. In the second equation, we shall have 2 times the 5x minus 2 times the 3y will equal to negative 15 times 2. Now, after doing so, your task is to ensure that you multiply well. So 5 times 2, you end up with 10x minus 5 times 5, that is 25y, is equal to 5 times 13, which will give us a 65. 5 times 2 here, we get 10x minus 2 times 3, which would give us a 6y, is equal to 15 times 2, which would give us the 30. But since it is negative 15, we shall have negative 30. When you look at the sign of what you want to eliminate, you notice that you have positive 10 and positive 10. So same sign, you always subtract. So we are going to subtract our equations. So you have 10x minus 10x, which will give us a 0. So here we have a 0. Then I have negative 25y minus negative 6y. So this one yields a plus. So in other words, you have negative 25y plus 6y. So when you have negative 25 plus the 6, you end up with negative 19y. So here we shall have negative 19y is equal to, still subtract 65 minus 30. So minus and a minus yields a plus. So you have 65 plus 30. So when you have 65 plus 30, you end up with 95. So here we shall end up with 95. 0 minus 19y, you get negative 19y will equal to 95. So since I'm interested in y, I'll divide by negative 19, divide by negative 19. So 95 divided by negative 19, you end up with y is equal to negative 5. Now, after obtaining your y, you are going to go on and obtain your x. Now, when I'm obtaining my x, I feel free always to use any of the equation. So in case I choose the first one, I'll have 2x minus 5y is equal to 13. So where there is y, put negative 5. So I'll say 2x minus 5 times negative 5 is equal to 13. So I'll say 2x negative 5 times the negative 5, you end up with a positive 25. So negative 5 times the negative 5, negative times the negative yields a positive. 5 times 5 yields us 25. So here I'll have plus 25 will equal to 13. So since this is positive, once it crosses, it becomes negative. So I'll say 2x plus 25 minus 25 will equal to 13 minus 25. So 13 minus 25 will give us a negative 12. So 2x will equal to negative 12. In order for us to get x, we shall divide by 2, divide by 2. So this and this will go, and therefore we shall have our x is equal to negative 6. So those are our two values that we obtain when we solve that pair of simultaneous equation. So you just conclude and say my x is equal to negative 6 and my y is equal to negative 5. So that is how you do that number. So your y is negative 5 and your x is equal to negative 6. So that is our solution to that number. Okay, we can try out another number. We can try out this one. Now, still, we are going to do the same. What you do, come here and say, I have 2m minus n is equal to 1. Then I have 3m plus n is equal to 9. Look at the coefficients. When you look at our m in both equations, they have this one, the coefficient is 2, Here the coefficient is 3. So the coefficients are different, meaning you cannot eliminate it unless you make them the same. When we go to the second one, n has a -1, has a +1. So here it means that in the first equation, our n is -1. In the second one, it is +1. Now, when you look at these ones, the coefficients is the 1 and the 1 are okay, but the signs are different. So whenever you find that there's different signs, then you go on and add. The moment the coefficients have the different signs, but they are the same, then you go on and add. So I'm going to come here to my two equations that I have, and then I'm going to just add those two equations. So I'm going to come to them, I add. So when I'm adding, I'll have to add still vertically the way I'm adding. 2 plus 3, I'll end up with 5m. Then minus n plus n. So you do it. Minus n plus n gives us a 0. So here I'll have plus 0 is equal to 1 plus 9. You say 1 plus 9, which gives us 10. So here I'll have my answer as 10. So meaning that we shall have 5m is equal to 10. So to obtain m, divide by 5, divide by 5. So my m will equal to 2. So after obtaining your m, go on and find your n. So I'll have 2m minus n is equal to 1. So where there is m, you put a 2. So I'll have 2 times 2 minus n is equal to 1. So this is 4 minus n is equal to 1. So what do you do? Since you are interested in n, I'll take that for the other side. So I'll say 4 minus 4 minus n is equal to 1 minus 4. So here I'll get negative n is equal to 1 minus 4 is equal to negative 3. So I'll divide by -1, divide by -1, and our n will equal to 3. So after obtaining your n, go on and you can either prove your answer or you just conclude. In case you want to prove, you come and I say, let me prove. I have got my m as 2 and my n as 3. Let me prove in n of the equation. So you say 2m minus n. Does it give us a 1? So what is our m? Our m is 2. So I'll say 2 times 2 minus my n, which is 3. So this is 4 minus 3, which is a 1. When I try it in the second equation, I have 3m plus n is equal to 9. So substitute, you have 3 times m, which is 2 plus 3. So this will give us 6 plus 3, which will give us a 9. So that is how you do whenever you find that the signs are different, you add, and therefore you go on and solve. Let us try another number. Now we have this particular number. Still, I want you to observe what happens to the coefficients. Here the coefficients are the coefficients of P are 4, the coefficients of P are 2. So here the coefficients are different. When you look at the second one of Q, we have 3 and 3. They are the same. But when you look at the signs of the coefficient, one is negative, another one is positive. So since the signs are different, you have a positive and negative. So different signs, you always add. So I'm going to come here and I say 4P minus 3Q is equal to 14. Then I have 2P plus 3Q is equal to 16. So since the signs are different, I'll just add. So I'll come 4 plus 2, it will give me 6P. So 4P plus 2P gives us 6P. Minus 3Q plus 3Q gives us a 0. So here's like plus a 0 is equal to, now I'm going to add these ones, 14 plus 16. So when I have 14 plus 16, I'm going to end 14 plus 16, that is 30. So that is what you are going to obtain. So when you get your 30, here we shall have 30. So I'll end up with 6P is equal to 30. So to obtain P, I'll divide by 6, divide by 6. So 30 divided by 6 will give us a 5. So our P will equal to 5. Now, after obtaining your 5, go back and substitute in any of the equations. So I'll say 4P minus 3Q was equal to 14. So where there is P, I'll put 5. So I'll come here and I say now, I'll have 4 times the 5 minus the 3Q is equal to 14. So 4 times 5 will give us a 20. So I'll have 20 minus 3q is equal to 14. Now, correct like terms. 20, since it is positive, I will take it this side. So I'll say 20 minus 20 minus 3q will equal to 14 minus 20. So here I'll end up with negative 3q is equal to 14 minus the 20. So you end up with negative 6. So here to get q, I will divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, meaning that my q is equal to 2. Therefore, your p will equal to 5, your q will equal to 2. So that is how you use this kind of approach when you are solving simultaneous equations using the elimination method. So afterwards, whenever you finish, feel free always to go and prove your answers, whether they are right or whether they are not satisfying the equation. Okay, so you can try out these particular numbers to check out whether you have understood the concept, and after understanding the concept, you prove your answer to check whether they are correct. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for joining this session. We shall start from here, and you can check out later on for other videos or for other lessons that are involving solving simultaneous equations using other approaches.